Yo, America, planet Earth, what's good? This is your boy Codell, and I'm back again with another big, beautiful episode of Codell Crypto. Hey, today, guys, I'm going to be diving back into central banks and blockchain and cryptocurrency, obviously, but I'm going to be discussing basically the fight that is going on between the traditional central banking system and cryptocurrency and blockchain, basically CeFi versus DeFi. If you don't know what that means, CeFi is centralized finance and DeFi is decentralized finance. But yeah, I'm going to be reading through some articles. I'm going to be giving my opinion on what I think is going on, and it should be fun. All right, guys, let me not hold you up any longer. Let me get that information to you beautiful folks. Let's rock and roll, baby. All right, guys, so up first, we got this opinion article. This is from Coindesk.com, and it is called "Why is the IMF so afraid of cryptocurrency?" And I think this article does a very, very good job of really pointing out some basically factual information, evidence proving that the International Monetary Fund, the business of international settlements, and even a bank I have never even heard of, and this is one of the biggest banks, they're all afraid of blockchain slash cryptocurrency. All right, let's get into it. The IMF is not a neutral aid organization, but the economic arm of a vast power structure. Crypto threatens that power, says the author. It seems increasingly clear that opposition to cryptocurrency can be considered an official position of the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and we can't expect anti-crypto restrictions to become a common condition of its loans to economies in crisis. Most recently, Argentina has agreed to discourage the use of cryptocurrency as a condition of a $45 billion loan from the IMF. The announcement comes less than a year after El Salvador's plan to use Bitcoin as legal tender met with vocal complaints from the IMF ahead of negotiations on a loan with that country. Again, you guys, the IMF is the International Monetary Fund. All right, let's keep going. Argentina has been mirrored in a dire economic crisis for years, with fallout including high inflation. The country also carries huge sovereign debt and has a history of default, making borrowing on conventional markets more difficult. Meanwhile, as laid out by the bloc, Buenos Aires has become a significant center of blockchain and crypto development, substantially because the country's economic and monetary chaos has pushed residents to seek the relative stability and trustworthiness of crypto like Bitcoin. Crypto companies and organizations in the country are still reportedly seeking clarity on what exactly it would mean for their government to discourage the use of crypto. But if Argentinians have decided that crypto is a useful way for them to individually cope with economic chaos, why is the IMF trying to stop them? All right, this is where it gets pretty juicy, guys. Now, to understand what's going on here, you have to understand the political history and true purpose of the IMF. The agency was founded in 1944, and what the official narrative describes as an attempt to avoid repeating the competitive currency devaluations that contributed to the Great Depression of the 1930s. Sharp eyes will notice some sleight of hand here. The Great Depression largely ended by the mid-1930s, and the early 1940s were marked by something much more pressing than a hypothetical repeat World War II. In reality, the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, was founded less as a response to the Depression than as a preparation for the end of the war and the reconstruction of Europe. And that reconstruction was not philanthropic, but a strategic pillar of the then emerging Cold War 4 years after the founding of the IMF. The U.S. Marshall Plan sent huge amounts of American capital to help Europe recover from the war and equally important to make sure they're recovered as part of the Western liberal democratic order rather than in the orbit of the Soviet Union. The Marshall Plan became something of a blueprint for the economic front of the Cold War, and the International Monetary Fund became the mechanism for letting 100 Marshall Plans bloom across the globe. Its presence in developing nations over the next half century were in large part meant to forestall the spread of communism in exchange for its funds. International Monetary Fund, the IMF, member states have generally had to comply with a variety of market reforms that connect them more deeply to the free market Western order, which, as you can see, is falling apart right now. Those conditions can include wage cuts for public sector workers, the reduction of public pensions, the cutting of social programs, policies that favor privatization of public services, the abandonment of industrial policy, and the opening of capital markets. The average IMF loan comes with 20 such conditions. This IMF austerity. So let's see what some of these 20 plus such conditions are. All right, we're going to click on that. Let's see, number of conditions, where we at, scroll through. Let's see, the IMF loans conditions have long been a sore point. Many governments also complained that IMF conditions were not well tailored. Let's see, barrel of a gun. Hang with me, guys. Yeah, so basically the IMF, they'll dictate to these countries that they give loans out to. Obviously, they're charging them huge interest rates, but they'll dictate what they have to do with their government when they're loaning them this money. And I mean, to a certain extent, you know, I mean, obviously you've got to put you've got to put stipulations, you know, when you're doing business on how things are going to be handled. But some of this stuff is just crazy because, I mean, it allows them to control everything from the social programs to just like all sorts of government structures. So, and again, like I kind of get it to a certain extent, because if you're loaning a country a bunch of money, you know, you want to make sure they're using that money for what it needs to be used for. But like, it depends on what you're telling them they have to use that money for. Is that really the right thing, is what I'm trying to say. So, you know, anyways, yeah, so a bunch of crazy stuff with that. Let's get back to this article. This IMF austerity program is often imposed on countries in the midst of crises, making the reform essentially a form of extortion under compulsion, or what American political commentator Naomi Klein has called the shock doctrine. And while they are advertised as reform measures intended to fix developing economies, they have just as often led to even deeper misery. Klein and others have argued that this makes the IMF fundamentally a stalking horse for global corporations seeking free market reforms, using countries' economic desperation as leverage for imposing policies that allow greater economic extraction. The collapse of the Soviet Union might seem to make the IMF less important, but much like NATO itself, and this is really interesting because I agree with what this is about to get into. The IMF has continued to pursue its fight against an absent enemy. How does an anti-communist organization behave once communism has been defeated? Apparently, much like a cult member whose chosen prophecy fails. So, a 2014 study found that the number of conditions attached to the IMF loans had actually increased since the end of the Cold War. So it's funny because, I mean, this is just my personal opinion. Like, the IMF, you know how it talks about, you know, they're supposed to be like an anti-communist organization. Well, if you look at a lot of the stuff that they support, they're pretty communist. So, yeah, I'm not a fan of the IMF. I'm not a fan of the BIS. Like, I'm not a fan of any of these large, super centralized banking systems. So I think they're all corrupt. I think they're honestly all evil. that's part of the reason I just love DeFi and cryptocurrency and blockchain and what it actually has the potential to do for the world. Anyways, this context suggests why the IMF is so aggressively anti-crypto, because at the highest level, its reasons for existence is not to boost developing economies or help the individuals who live within them. The IMF is not a neutral aid organization, but the economic arm of a vast power structure that frequently hides itself behind the language of uplift and reform. It seeks to draw peripheral or developing nations, African and Latin American countries being a current high priority, into the post-war neoliberal consensus. Crypto threatens that power, even if the threat is somewhat distant for now. Mark Weisbrot, writing at the Center for Economic Policy Research, describes the IMF as a gatekeeper for a creditors cartel of Western funders, also including the World Bank and the Inter-American Development Bank. So, yeah, I think you get the gist of this article. Basically, the author of this is saying, yo, like, central banks are horrible, they're bad. DeFi, freaking a transparent record held on the blockchain, immutable, good, beautiful. It gives us financial freedom, peer-to-peer financial transactions. That's freedom. I think you all get what he's saying. So, anyways, yeah, I'm not gonna finish the article, guys, but yeah, I hope y'all dig that. And if you guys like what I'm doing, make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment, hit that little notification bell. Follow me on Rumble. Follow me on YouTube. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Getter. Follow me on Truth Social. Follow me everywhere you can find me. All right, you guys. Anyways, let's keep it moving. Was there one last thing, though, with this that I kind of wanted to get into? Nah, we're good. All right, whatever it was, if it was, it'll be back. Oh, yeah, the IDB. Okay, so at the end, in this article that I was just reading, you guys, it talks about the IDB. Okay, so what is the IDB? I never even heard of this bank. Now, I'm not going to go deep into them, but I think it's important for me to bring them up and so to put them out there, because I don't think really anyone's heard of these people. IDB is Inter-American Development Bank. And basically all they do is they do the same thing the BIS, the IMF does. They're a large, super mega central banking system that gives loans to third world countries, developing countries, and basically they help put people into financial slavery. The countries they are focused in is Argentina, Bahamas, Barbados, Belize, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Costa Rica, Dominican Republic, Ecuador, El Salvador, Guatemala, Guana, sorry if I said that wrong, which I probably did, Haiti, Honduras, Jamaica, Mexico, Nicaragua, Panama, and Paraguay. Also Peru, Suriname, Trinidad and Tobago, Uruguay, and Venezuela. So yeah, those are the countries they seem to be focused on. But I would definitely, I'm going to leave a link in the description box. I think you guys should definitely do a little research into them. Like I said, I never even heard of these people. And yeah, pretty interesting stuff. All right, guys, we're going to keep it moving. Now, again, theme of today's show, you guys, talking about blockchain, cryptocurrency versus the central banking system, basically DeFi versus CeFi. Okay, so this next article it just names which countries Bitcoin is legal tender. So there's only a couple, but if you don't know, here they are. El Salvador. They were the first. They were the first country. They're from Central America, guys. They have about 6.5 million inhabitants and 112th in the world in GDP per capita adjusted for purchasing power. So 112, you know, they're a pretty poor country, and they actually don't have their own national currency. They have been using the U.S. dollar's legal tender. But in September 2021, which a lot of you probably heard about this, they brought in Bitcoin alongside the dollar as its second legal tender currency. And the IMF, they were not happy about this. They definitely, if I remember right, they sent some people from the IMF over into El Salvador to basically be like, crypto bad, central banking money good. Anyways, and then the next country, guys, was, and this just happened pretty recently, if I remember correctly. Let's see, what's the date on this article? I can't find it. I swear though, this just happened a few days ago. So the Central African Republic, they were the second country in the world, and let's see, they are a medium-sized state in Central Africa, and they have less than 6 million inhabitants, and it is one of the poorest countries in the world with an annual GDP per capita of just over $500. So man, people that are making just over $500 a year, which puts 179th overall in the world. So yeah, very poor country. The country uses so-called CFA franc issued by France's central bank as its fiat currency, and in April it decreed that Bitcoin will also be legal tender as well. The total number of people in the country is just over 12 million, which is okay. I thought I said 6 million before. Maybe I'm talking about the previous country, mixing up stuff. Anyways, it's just over 12 million, which is just over half the size of New York City. So again, it's another small country, but you got two countries now that have fully legalized Bitcoin as legal tender. Let's see. Also, who are some of the other countries and cities and places around the world that are really embracing it? Currently, there are other states that seem to be willing to do something similar. Let's see. Although a state with a national currency might be much more reluctant to make Bitcoin legal tender. Let's see. The spread of Bitcoin. Let's see. We have it going on in Mexico, both because it has almost 130 million inhabitants, which is huge, and because it is also very close to the U.S. Also, although it is only 67th in the world in GDP per capita, it is 14th in the world in total nominal GDP. So what's going on over there, Mexico? You're 14th in the world, but you're only ranked 67th in GDP per capita. So y'all need to, do some cleaning. Anyways, however, there are many other countries where, although not legal tender, Bitcoin is commonly accepted as a form of payment, albeit not forcefully and not by everyone. Let's see. In this respect, the first to recognize Bitcoin as a currency was Japan. Okay, pretty interesting. And they have over 125 million inhabitants. But they're also one of the richest countries in the world, ranking third in total nominal GDP and 28th in GDP per capita. Let's see. Also, Bitcoin is being used in Switzerland, starting with the city of Lugano. And yeah, oh, I forgot about this. Miami here in the US, they've heavily embraced cryptocurrency and so on and so on. So yeah, you guys, you get the drift, you get the gist. Bitcoin specifically right now is spreading like wildfire all over the world. Cryptocurrency is spreading like wildfire all over the world. And the banks, man, they got one hell of a battle ahead of them. And I'm excited because we're gonna beat the banks. We're gonna win. We're gonna go into a whole new financial system. All right. Let's see what else we got here, guys. We're gonna wrap this up soon. So yeah, last article, I'm gonna skip this because this just talks about how Central African Republic launched their national Bitcoin connected crypto project, which I was just saying. They now recognize Bitcoin as legal tender. Although there are a few things that are pretty fascinating in this. So let's see, they're adopting Bitcoin, right? Well, they're also creating their own crypto around Bitcoin, and it's called the Sango. I don't know. I know I'm saying that wrong. But what's funny is, so the country itself, the Republic of Central Africa, like I said, they recognize Bitcoin as legal tender, but their central bank is against it. They did not support this. So hey, speaks volumes. You know what I'm saying? All right, guys, we are moving along. Let's see what else we got here. We're gonna wrap this up soon. Paraguay's crypto framework one step away from becoming law. Again, what is this? Crypto adoption. The Paraguayan Senate passed a bill on Thursday establishing a tax and regulatory framework for businesses operating in the cryptocurrency and crypto mining sectors. The bill, introduced just last July by Senator Fernando Silva Fachetti and passed in Congress in May before reaching the Senate, calls for the formation of the Ministry of Industry and Commerce, MIC, to oversee crypto industry service providers. The bill is now one step away from being ratified as law by President Mario Abdo Benitez. Notice from Congress in May stated that the bill pertains specifically to crypto mining, commercialization, intermediation, exchange, transfer, custody, and/or administration of crypto assets or instruments that allow control over crypto assets. Let's see. Local news outlet ABC reported on Thursday that companies that operate in the crypto industry would be treated the same as those dealing with securities for tax purposes. As a result, they will be exempted by the Undersecretary of State for Taxation from paying a value-added tax, but will be included in the income tax regime. So, yeah, I'm not going to read the rest of this, but as you can see, dude, pretty sweet. Paraguay moving forward, getting all their infrastructure, their framework, their infrastructure in place to move forward with the legalization of cryptocurrency. And another victory for crypto, another loss for the banks, baby. All right, let's see what else. We're almost done, you guys. I'm gonna wrap this up soon because I don't want to make this video too long. I do want to get into this real quick though. This is from the Daily Hodl. Ripple objects to SEC's latest push to block crucial evidence in XRP lawsuit. Let's see. The battle between the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, and Ripple Labs grinds on as the SEC disputes a key judicial ruling. Crypto attorney James K. Fallon, who has been chronicling the SEC versus Ripple case since December 2020, shares with his 106,700 Twitter followers, sorry guys, a copy of an SEC request to block drafts of a speech given by the agency's former director William Hinman from being made public. In a letter to the U.S. District Judge Annalisa Torres, written on behalf of the SEC, attorney Layden F. Stewart requests permission to file a pair of briefs objecting to the recent decision by Judge Sarah Netburn compelling the SEC to turn over a draft of Hinman's 2018 speech. In 2018, Hinman delivered a speech stating that leading smart contract platform Ethereum was not a security. So for those that don't know it, they're trying to keep this from getting into court. They're trying to keep all these emails that pertain to this similar information, documents from getting into court because basically it shows collusion between them and Ethereum and some other big players. And it shows basically that they're almost like trying to build a monopoly and push out all the other cryptocurrencies. So I don't like Ethereum. I don't like the way it conducts itself. And yeah, I don't have any Ethereum. Anyways, yeah, not financial advice. All right, the SEC has requested permission to file a 30-page opening brief and a 10-page reply brief in support of the SEC's objection to Magistrate Judge Netburn's ruling ordering the SEC to disclose the Hinman speech documents. Let's see. Earlier this year, federal judge Sarah Netburn first ordered the SEC to produce emails pertaining to the speech, but the SEC challenged the order. Netburn struck down the challenge and ordered the SEC to hand over the requested drafts and emails in April, though she did grant a clarification. The SEC then requested one more time to file an objection against Netburn's decision to overrule their challenge. The regulator claimed attorney-client privilege protected the Hinman documents. However, Netburn shot down that line of reasoning in her most recent order. This is what she had to say. The SEC has distanced itself from the speech to avoid discovery and sought to preclude Hinman's deposition on the grounds that whatever he said in the speech had nothing to do with the SEC's position. The hypocrisy in arguing to the court on one hand that the speech is not relevant to the market's understanding of how or whether the SEC will regulate cryptocurrencies, and on the other hand that Hinman sought and obtained legal advice from SEC counselor in drafting his speech, suggests that the SEC is adopting its litigation position to further its desired goal and not out of a faithful allegiance to the law. So yeah, she ripped them right there. And just last week, Ripple won. Anyways, don't need to get into all that. So as you can see, guys, another big victory. I mean, the case is obviously, the lawsuit is obviously still ongoing. But Ripple XRP making major headways, guys. Big positive things are happening. That's why, again, this is not financial advice, what I'm about to say, but I am packing my bags with as much XRP and as much ADA as I can possibly get. So, yeah, XRP was actually the first crypto I ever bought. But yeah, I believe in the project, and I think once this gets all cleared up, I think XRP is going to shock the fucking world. Excuse my language. All right, guys, moving on. I swear we're almost done. I just wanted to bring this up. This is Gary Gensler, and I wanted to just. He's the guy. He's the guy in the SEC. That's basically spearheading this whole lawsuit, against Ripple, XRP, all that stuff. And I want to show you some of his connections, like who he's connected with, and it'll just make everything make a lot more sense on why he's going after XRP, after Ripple, after crypto in general so dang hard. Okay, first off, Gensler served in the United States Department of the Treasury as Assistant Secretary of Financial Markets. This was the 97 to 99. Let's see. Gensler also served as Senior Advisor to Secretary of the Treasury in developing and implementing the federal government's policies for debt management and the sale of U.S. government securities. Okay, and what else? Gensler, let's see. CFT. Hold up, we got like some really important stuff, like about, because it's not BlackRock that he's connected with, that he has major connections to. I always mix them up. It's not BlackRock. It is, bear with me, guys, bear with me. Almost there. Wait, did I miss it? I did, I missed it. What the heck? Let's see. Where are we at? Oh yeah, okay, so it's right here, guys, right in front of my face. Okay, so Gensler, let's see. Gensler served as his 11th chairman of the Commodity Futures Trading Commission under President Barack Obama from May 26, 2009, to January 3rd, 2014. He was also Under Secretary of the Treasury for Domestic Finances from 99 to 2001. Gensler also, here, this is key right here, worked at Goldman Sachs where he was a partner and co-head of finance. Gensler also served as CFO for the Hillary Clinton 2016 presidential campaign. President Joe Biden nominated Gensler to serve as 33rd chair of the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. He succeeded SEC acting chair Allison Lee. So, yeah, so you guys, right there, that's you. Goldman Sachs. Like, Goldman Sachs is one of the biggest banks in the world. And just, if you don't know about their corruption, just Google it, DuckDuckGo it. Like, it's not hard to find. I mean, they have screwed a lot of people out of a lot of money, and they have been connected to a lot of shady deals over many, many decades. Anyway, so yeah, I just wanted to put that out with Gary Gensler. And yeah, guys, you know what? That's it. I got more, but the video is already at 27 minutes, so let's just cut it right there. Anyways, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed this. I hope I put out some information that really helped you connect some dots basically on why basically central banks hate cryptocurrency, blockchain technology so bad. You guys, this is a war between DeFi, CeFi, decentralized finance versus centralized finance. Centralized finance is a system that we have all been on we have all been on our whole entire lives. So they've been running the world. Think about all the crazy economic issues we've had, the 2008 housing crisis. Think about all the countries around the world that take loans out from these giant central banking systems, and they can't seem to pull themselves out of poverty, even though these banks supposedly put safety nets in place or whatever to make sure the money is supposed to go where it's supposed to go. Don't believe it. You guys, they're charging us interest on every single dollar. Like the Federal Reserve, they charge us interest on every single dollar they print for us. These banks are legalized criminal cartels, okay? I know, legal, criminal, like how's that go together? I don't know. It just does. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. I hope I provided some great information for y'all. And please make sure that you stay aware of this stuff and be prepared, because we are going to have to say no to CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. Through decentralized blockchain cryptocurrencies, we finally have the chance, America, world, beautiful people all over the place, we finally have the chance to have actual true financial freedom, peer-to-peer financial transactions. My money's mine, yours is yours. I don't have to keep in a bank anymore, none of that stuff. We can handle all this. We have the technology to finally take that next step in the financial evolution. Anyways, guys, I'm Codell. Thank you so much for watching Codell Crypto. Remember to give me a like, follow, share, subscribe, comment, smash that Rumble button, you know, all that good stuff. Follow me on YouTube, follow me on Rumble, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Getter, follow me on True Social. I don't know, follow me everywhere you find me. Anyways, guys, love you. Remember, God loves you as well, and stay blessed. And until next time, peace.